today's episode, we're exploring an abandoned power plant that dates back to the beginning of electrical generating technology. This is the L Street Station in South Boston, a colossal amalgamation of structures built across the greater part of a century. The building's grand arches, glazed terracotta walls, and intricate details harken back to a time when electricity was new and exciting, and the upper limits of where this technology could bring us could hardly be imagined. For the past few years, the plant has been undergoing abatement and demolition work, but we managed to get inside before any of that work began. Now, join us as we explore one of America's most historic industrial relics.
Protect yourself on the internet with the sponsor of today's video, NordVPN. NordVPN protects your online privacy by making sure your data is encrypted before it even leaves your device. It hides your internet traffic from other websites, ISPs, and anyone else that may be snooping on a public network. When connecting to public networks like hotels, airports, and coffee shops, I always make sure I'm protected with a VPN. Anyone can be vulnerable to a man-in-the-middle attack when connecting to unknown Wi-Fi networks, and NordVPN helps make sure that traffic is secure. NordVPN is also great to get around region restrictions. With thousands of servers worldwide, you can browse the web without borders. And with their ultra-fast connections, you don't need to sacrifice speed for better security. It's possible to access streaming libraries that are only available in other countries, or play online games on a different region's server. You can protect all your devices, as one account supports 6 simultaneous connections and works with all major operating systems. This is great so you can protect your phone and your laptop. I have a handful of network devices, and thanks to NordVPN, they can all be secure at the same time. Take control of your internet experience today with NordVPN. Right now, you can get a huge discount plus 4 additional months for free. It's risk-free as every purchase is protected with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. Visit nordvpn.com/properpeople or click the link in the description below.
This is a big room up here. Wow.
All the windows up there.
This is nice.
So many little arched windows.
Glossy tiling.
Look at these light fixtures. I think that's the only one that still has the glass left.
Yeah, that's the only one fully intact. The detail on that is just awesome. It's a big machine right behind you. Our exploration begins in the oldest part of the power plant, dating back to 1898. This room was the original generating hall and would have housed 6 towering steam engines. These quickly became antiquated and were removed for scrap in the 1930s. The space was then used for general storage and eventually housed a frequency converter and electrical laboratory. Check that out. That looks like marble to me.
This does look like marble. There are really so many little switches here. These are all just small holes. Each one of these
this entire thing
was a switch.
all the way down. They might have been like gauges or something. They seem really close together to be switches, but who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like these would be the contacts, and it'd be like, the thing to connect them.
Yeah.
But that's just what I'm picturing.
So this board was neither for switches or gauges. Instead, it functioned more like an old telephone switchboard for connecting up different circuits. This frequency converter was put into service in 1950 after an agreement was made with Boston's Transit Authority to supply traction power for their trains. The Transit Authority's system operated at 25 Hz and Boston Edison's at 60 Hz, hence the need for the converter. I feel like this machine has to be at least like from the 40s or 50s because of how covered up everything is. The older machinery, they just left everything more exposed. This has cladding over everything. Oh, hello. DC generator. Probably functioning as an exciter, based on what it said on the outside of this box. Found a Here booth. The plaque is missing. That's one for the power plant bingo, though. Oh yeah. That's marble. Wow. These more modern switches are pretty ugly compared to the old ones.
It says the Weston station voltmeter made for General Electric. Wasn't made by General Electric.
Yeah.
Because this is from Newark, New Jersey.
Yeah, it's made by the Weston Electric Instrument Co.
It says patented July 22nd, 90. That's 1890.
Yes, it is. Wow. Does it say what it is on it?
Watt meter, 1,000 watt hours multiplied by 40. So yeah, these springs would make them snap. So it was a quick transaction.
If it went slowly, it could start like arcing
Arcing,
and
yeah.
short-circuiting. This chair's just chilling, enjoying the view. Yo, let's check out this little room down here. Looks like it has some sick stuff inside. The main door is padlocked. Pretty hefty lock. Get in over here though. Wow. This looks like a mad scientist lab in here.
These here look like vacuum tubes. I think that's what they are. These are vacuum tubes.
Some kind of a workbench here. More of these knife switches. This is probably where they would test their equipment and make sure it was working properly before they installed it.
That's some thick wire.
I wonder how dangerous it was just to be walking around here back in the day when everything was energized. Like if you accidentally bumped into something, could you just get shocked? Because I noticed they have this whole like Faraday cage around this place. Somebody cut through this asbestos tarp. This is like the old admin building. You can check it out.
The lobby's right there. Downstairs.
Yeah. Looks pretty stripped in here. Not sure what's going on with this room. We have to go through the asbestos containment. I don't think they actually did anything with abatement in here yet, at least. Nothing looks touched, really. So there shouldn't be too much asbestos on these curtains yet. Just try to go through them quietly, in case security's out there.
I don't think quiet is going to happen with these things.
It's kind of impossible to go through this quietly.
They might have actually started some stuff. But let's not just, don't disturb it.
That window's beautiful. Wow. That tile work is insane. And the brickwork. This is the plant's 1904 turbine hall, which contained 8 vertically oriented steam turbines manufactured by General Electric. Since this was only the second large-scale turbine-based power plant in the entire country, it was sure to be a technological showpiece. Therefore, no expense was spared in its design. Guess what I see down there? A unit. While units 1 through 7 were scrapped after their decommissioning, someone thankfully made the decision to leave the 8th and final vertical unit in place. I don't know why they decided to gut everything and leave this one turbine.
Probably because it was something special and they didn't.
I'm really glad they did.
Yeah, but they left this one, not the older ones. I don't know, it's weird.
Normally these companies don't give a shit about
Yeah.
preserving. So this room would have been filled with these machines, lined all the way down it. Now it's all gutted out, except for this one. That would have been a giant skylight in the ceiling back in the day. Now it's all sealed up. GE Curtis Vertical Steam Turbine Generator. 15 megawatts. Online October 1914. Served for 53 years. So this is only one of 3 vertical units still standing in their original spot. The other 2 are both in Seattle. That 15 megawatt figure is incredibly paltry by today's standards, and a modern turbine capable of generating that amount could practically fit in your living room. And keep in mind, the older units in this hall had ratings as low as 5 megawatts. It's crazy to see the amount of investment that was put into housing these machines that would become completely antiquated in just a couple of decades. It's evidence of how the exponential progress of the electrical industry occurred so much faster than anyone imagined was possible. It's a pretty sweet looking megawatt gauge up there. So these tiled walls were form and function. They look nice and they were easy to clean. They had an old school reciprocating steam engine here. doing something. I'm not sure what its exact purpose was. This has got to be one of the most beautiful industrial sites in America, though. So the steam would enter the turbine right there through this pipe. Part down here is the turbine. Got the condenser below it, where the steam exits, gets turned back into liquid water. And up on top is the generator. It was air cooled, so you have an intake up there. I don't know why they built like a little roof over the top of the generator, but it looks cool. This window is just a beast. And that arch, it's like 7 feet wide of brickwork. It's crazy. Even these hangers for the light fixtures are crazy. I don't think there's any fully intact light fixtures in this hall, though. Hopefully they restore these when they redevelop this place. That'd be sweet to see. So yeah, we were in that first white turbine hall. Then, depending on how you count this one, if you count it as two separate ones or not, because there is a dividing wall. Could be 2, 3.
Yeah,
We're about to go into the fourth. No, they were probably like expansions a few years later. But this would be the fourth turbine hall here. Wow, this one is even bigger. It's wider and taller.
There's still platforms here for the turbines themselves. These were more traditional style horizontal units.
So this was new enough that they were using horizontal units.
Yeah.
So probably early 20s maybe,
Probably something like
late
that.
1910s.
They still made this match pretty nicely. Didn't have a skylight like the others. Not that it's still
No, but I bet
open.
light would have came in through all of these windows around
yeah.
the top there. Now they've repurposed this room for something else at some point. But you can still picture its original form. There would have been a turbine right in that big space. And the generator for it up there. Looks like the exhaust for the vertical unit for the generator cooling air would have just came right into this hall. That's strange. This architecture would be extremely impressive in any type of building. The fact it's in an industrial structure just makes it even more impressive to me. There's some old controls in the walls back here. Probably for the unit that would have been here before they replaced it.
The turbine controls.
All these people driving and jogging by. They probably drive by this building every day and they have no idea what's in here. They probably don't even get curious because most people just don't care. There probably would have been a glass dome at the bottom around the bulb, just because that kind of matches what was in the other hall. Just a guess. There's some controls down here. Man, these green tiles look so nice. Yeah, look at the tiles up here. They're really bulging out. Like they're about to fall off the wall.
Are they tiles or glazed brick?
They might be glazed brick.
So it looks like they were like sliding doors, and they could open and close them. Huge sliding doors with windows.
Now we're venturing into the switch house, which is where all of the plant's connections with the outside grid were managed and controlled. Ooh, a spiral staircase. Oh, wow. This room is pretty sweet.
This is more modern. This looks really old. These doors. These look like record books.
Yeah. October 1952.
1922.
Wow.
So this is 99 years old. Wow.
This was probably written in 1922, put away for decades, and never looked at again until now.
Mm-hmm.
I find old cursive kind of hard to read here.
Like this is like a different language almost. Like no one writes like this anymore. It's just like so classic looking. Like,
Yeah, that's crazy. There's a whole bunch of conduits going into this area. This looks like the switch house. What are these? Just massive switches, maybe? They go all the way down. I'm sure there's more past that dark door. Everything in here just looks so ancient and alien.
it's a
Like,
really old fuse box.
the handle's missing.
Yeah, whatever. You see it. Old fuse box.
But even these things. That one's screwed shut. These doors look crazy. Fire doors. You can see outside a bit. That building is the first turbine hall with the frequency changer in it that we started out in. That massive building is the new plant that was built in like the 60s, I believe. Maybe the 70s. That's abandoned too. So we'll have to go in there and check that out. But that's the closest area to where security sits, so we're saving that for last. All the handwritten signs are so cool. Never get tired of looking at those. Wow, it's pitch black down there. Reactor. Phase 2. Phase 1, 2, 3. Batteries. These are fire alarms, maybe? In case of fire, break glass and lift lever, yeah.
That's really old looking.
Lux.
You know what I think these are? It's part of the fire system. And if there was a fire, I think the weights would pull something and trigger an alarm of some kind.
Those are definitely weights.
Or like maybe for the sprinkler system, fire suppression.
Yeah.
It would open a valve, which actually, that's probably exactly what it does. You see the valve right there. And the pipes.
And then these yellow pipes are all fire suppression?
Yeah.
That's
what it is.
This is basically the same thing that was on the other end.
Yeah. It is.
So this just goes all the way down.
Mm-hmm.
This is like a nicer version of that same sign you saw on the other side.
It's a lot nicer. That's actually pretty sick. Let me get a hook on one too.
There's like multiple floors of this beneath us, but I think it's just going to be roughly the same thing.
This looks like the control room.
Oh man, this looks good.
Wow.
Holy shit. This is massive. This thing just goes.
These gauges.
Check out these panels, dude.
They're marble.
Look at this.
Just like in the other room. But this time it's every single wall.
And there's like molding at the top. both sides of the room.
Yeah, this was probably a large open room when it was first built.
All open in the middle, and they stuck
But
this
they
stuff
put in
later.
all of the new stuff in the middle.
Yup.
Also drop ceiling over the skylight.
I'm not going to complain about anything with this control room, though. This
But the panels are awesome.
Amazing. Holy cow. These are some replaced ones. Just metal.
And you go back to the old panel here.
This bench board looks insane. With all these conduits running out the top of it and then splitting up all across the ceiling.
It's definitely added later, but it's still sweet. This is probably like 20s, maybe 30s.
Is it slate?
Yeah.
This has like 90% of the stuff still intact. It's amazing. The Electric Storage Battery Company, Philadelphia. I wonder how dangerous it was just to be around these knife switches. Like, what would it take to electrocute yourself?
You'd have to create.
Like, would you just have to touch both of these at the same time?
Probably.
And that's it? You're done? Because that seems really easy to do if you just, like, accidentally
You have to
trip
just complete
and
the
land
circuit.
right there.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see why that wouldn't.
Yeah. I mean, there are two. But I don't know if any of these things are actually carrying high voltage. Like, what if
Then why would they need
these
to
just
heavy
show lower
duty?
voltage and they trigger a relay somewhere else that's like the real
Were
high
relays
voltage
invented
stuff?
then?
I don't know. But yeah, these are pretty heavy duty. They look like they would have a lot of power
Look at those up
flowing
there.
through these contacts.
This one has 3 huge plates.
Yeah.
More than that. But like 3 bars controlling all of these contacts.
They didn't have OSHA back then.
Doesn't budge.
Just
but-
had all of this exposed.
Like, I'm sure that ran the full power through that. That is a beefy switch.
I love this trim at the top. That's got to be the coolest thing I've seen on a control panel. Coolest decorative styling thing, at least. So for the control room to communicate with the operators down on the floor, they could turn this thing, say stop the unit. There's one for each unit. And then up there, I think that's a gauge for the turbine hall to communicate back to the control room the other way. And they could see the reading. This one says unit 1201, unit number 9. I found our answer for what the frequency changer did. It went between 25 hertz and 60 hertz. You got these graph readouts here. 25 cycle system, or 25 cycle something off system in 1984, that looks like. The entire floor is tiled throughout the entire control room. Do not operate tags still on all of the switches. Bunch of fuses. Is this a fuse too? What do you think this big board was?
It's an alarm.
Oh, like they're just lights that would light up? Yeah. This sign up here, some sort of indicator for units 9, 10, and 11.
Operating conditions understood. Relieved by whoever that is, March 30th, 1923.
There's a few of these panels around in here. That one says station 483. This one says station 71. They might just be like remote controls for substations. Carver Street.
There was a phone on the control board for the substation that probably had a direct line to the person on site.
There's another crazy looking fuse box back here. Love how colorful it is. Every fuse a different color. That says New Boston 1 and New Boston 2. These are probably the panels for the units that were built in the 60s or whatever. Speaking of which, that's like the last place we've yet to check out. You want to head there now?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. The final part of our exploration takes us into what was called New Boston Station, which contained a pair of turbines installed in the 1960s and capable of generating 360 megawatts each. Oh, wow. They've already demolished one of the units in here. The second unit is still just sitting up there. Security is posted up right outside that garage door, though. So we gotta be extra careful in here. Looks like a lab. They could take samples from a bunch of different systems. This looks crazy. So Even though this was like a 60s or 70s plant, the reason these walls over here are still brick is because that actually used to be the wall of the original boiler house. And once they decommissioned these first units, they turned the boiler house into the new turbine hall. This looks like the control room. It looks pretty destroyed. And it's mostly blanked out too.
Yeah. Modern control rooms aren't the same.
I mean, we can't complain. We just saw like the best control room in the world.
Yeah.
Got a kitchen in here.
It's just really like a bunch of junk thrown in the middle.
Yeah, where did that all come from?
I don't know. I think it's
Is
like
that even from this room? It probably
I
isn't.
don't think so.
Look at these old CRT monitors. They're so massive. Yeah, this control room's kind of whack.
It's just all the junk thrown in the middle.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah.
Cut the light. Let's go see if there's still two cars here.
Okay. Or even if they're the same cars. Be different cars by now.
Such trips. Blueprints. One car.
Yeah, that's the same car that was there before, but the other one's gone.
Let's go back up the boiler house because it looks cool up there. Security definitely be coming in here. It's basically outdoors with walls around it. It's very strange.
These were probably all skylights.
Definitely. I feel like the facade they put around it doesn't make it any less ugly. Probably look a lot cooler without it. Today, redevelopment on the L Street station is well underway. Much of what you saw in this episode has already been demolished, but fortunately, the original turbine hall will survive as the core of the new development. Most of the hall is planned to be used for commercial space, and the portion of the hall containing the 1914 vertical turbine will become a small museum. From a historic preservation perspective, there's a lot I could nitpick about the plan, but overall this still looks to be one of the most promising adaptive reuses of a power plant in the country. We're still years away from completion, but I look forward to being able to visit a portion of this incredible building once again.